sitting. That's, see, they really do it.
Brian, Phil, you lead us. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's November 23rd, 2020. On my left is Commissioner Aaron Mays, who represents District 3, and on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. And I'm Bill Rippon, and I represent District 1. Madam Clerk, I'd like to pull F3 from the agenda. Okay. All right, what's first?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, we have 2 vouchers this morning to consider. The first was what we've been calling our normal voucher report. That was $1,525,404.81. The highlights out of that voucher report under Bridge Project was Bettis Asphalt and Construction for $412,799.72, which is for the Southeast 29th Street from 470 to Croco Road. Under the Parks and Recreation, we have a variety of expenditures of $100,523.18, but we also have under the Equipment Fund $57,086.46, which was for tailor-made for the construction or work that's being done at Ripley Park, Hughes Park, and Collins Park. Under the Stormont Vale Event Center, we have $109,025.83. Under the Shawnee County Sheriff, we have $228,628.71, of which that was primarily Tyler Technologies, which is the annual software maintenance agreement. Under the Elections Office, we have $111,818.38, which is also for expenditures related to the election. And then finally, health insurance premiums of $223,228.15. Under the second voucher, which is our CARES Relief Voucher, which was $648,438.55. We have those going to really 2 groups, which is the community-based programs, which includes Catholic Charities, Darting Basketball Academy, Doorstep Incorporated, East Topeka Council on Aging, Family Service and Guidance, Helping Hands, the Children's Discovery Center, Kansas High School Association, Scent Shelter Living Incorporated, Sunshine Connection of Topeka, LULAC, Topeka Rescue Mission, United Way, Vallejo, and YWCA. The other group is under schools, which went to Auburn 437, Care Paravel, Hayden High School, Shawnee Heights 450, and St. Matthew's Catholic Church of Topeka. I do not have any questions regarding either voucher report, and we'll move for approval of both.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A3, consider approval of resolution number 2020-73, authorizing a 2021 cereal malt beverage license to Glory Days Pizza, located at 4745 Northwest Hunters Ridge Circle, Topeka. Okay, Commissioners, we are getting down to our last few of our cereal malt beverage licenses. This has been all the normal, the Councilor's Office has reviewed it. We have gotten the KBI report, and it was okay. The township had been notified, and the health inspection was done. So I recommend approval of this, please.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A4, consider setting a public hearing of December 14th regarding the proposed vacation of a portion of Schaefer Road between 70th and 74th Street. And this is a request from a private individual that lives along this road, so we have, this is part of the process. We have to set the public hearing. The publication has been made, so we will have to have that. So if we just set that for the 14th, if that works for you.
I will move that
Mr.
we
Chair-
set the hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I would second, but I do have a question. In here, it says that our vacation will be held at, the hearing on the vacation will be held at the Great Overland Station. I know that in the past, when we've talked about roads and closing roads, we actually have to go out and do a viewing. Is this not one of those occasions?
Jim, like I say, this is one of, there are statutorily, there are several ways to do a vacation. This is the one of them that the Board of County Commissioners can, under the petition, they can vacate the road if it has not been a usable road, and it's essentially a road that's not being used as a public road at all. So that's what this one falls under.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just wanted to make sure, because I know there are times when we have to physically go out and inspect
Right.
and
Yeah,
use the road.
this specifically, this KSA 68-102A is the one that allows the commission to do this without a public viewing.
Okay. Again, I'll second the motion made by Commissioner Mays.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item A5, public hearing and consider approval of resolution number 2020-74, exempting certain property owned by Reese's Fine Foods, Inc. from ad valorem taxation for economic development purposes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ashley Biegert, Assistant County Counselor and Chair of the Administrative Review Committee. As I previously reported to you on November 5th, the Administrative Review Committee met and considered an application for tax exemption by Reese's Fine Foods for their property at 3167 Southeast 10th Street. This site houses their baked sides production lines. They completed construction in 2019, and in their application reported that as of June 2020, they'd added 20 new employees as a result of the rebuild. The exemption request is for 10 years at 100% of the improvement value of $6,120,200, less the school capital outlay, which they're required to pay by statute. As stated in the proposed resolution before you, Reese's is also agreeing to make an annual payment in lieu of taxes in the amount of $137,106.07 based upon the value that was in place prior to the rebuild. As I reported earlier this month, the Administrative Review Committee recommends approval of the request by Reese's, and the terms of the exemption, including all of the eligibility requirements, are included in the resolution before you today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them, and I also know there are representatives from Reese's here if you have questions for the applicant.
Mr. Chairman, motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Go ahead.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Now open for public hearing. Anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this project? Lucky.
Commissioners, Lucky DeFreeze appearing today on behalf of Reese's. I'll be very brief. I just want to express our appreciation to the Commission for your cooperation and your assistance with respect to this. Also, I'd like to thank the Clerk's Office and the County Counselor's Office, as always, for their extraordinary assistance throughout the process. I think, as you know, this is kind of the second chapter in good news with respect to Reese's. I think several years ago we'd approached you about their plans to build a new salad plant, but then the second phase of that was the remodel and the expansion of their existing facility here, because part of what they were utilizing that facility for was move to the new salad plant. So there's been continuing good news with respect to their plans here, and I think the assistance that the county's been willing to provide has been one of the reasons why the company has elected to continue to deploy some of their capital here in Topeka. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, but otherwise we just thank you for your assistance with regard to this project.
Questions? Thank you, Lucky. Anyone else wishing to speak on this item? I will move then that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
I need a resolution, or for the resolution, approval of the resolution.
I move that we approve the resolution.
Thank you.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2020-75, assessing delinquent sewer maintenance fees.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. This is our annual assessment of Deerbrook Subdivision's delinquent sewer fees. There's a resolution that goes with that, and if you approve that resolution, the county is able to turn these delinquent fees into a lien against each of the property owners, which is then filed with the County Register of Deeds. This is important in case the property is sold, and it also allows the county to add these delinquent fees to the property owner's tax statements. With that, I'll take your questions.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next.
Item B2, consider approval of request to award the bid to Bettis Asphalt and Construction Company, Inc., Topeka, Kansas, in the amount of $37,700 for the demolition and removal of Northwest 42nd Street Bridge over Cross Creek and Northwest 46th Street Bridge over Cross Creek, utilizing Public Works Special Bridge Funds, and authorization and execution of contract C483-2020 for same.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Back on November 2nd, I came before the commission and talked about 2 bridges south of Rossville that needed to be removed. At that time, I showed you a number of pictures. On November 18th, we received 2 bids for the removal of those 2 structures. One bid from Bettis Asphalt and Construction was satisfactory, less than the engineer's estimate. So we're recommending approval of that bid and execution of the appropriate contract. With that, I'll take your questions.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval of the award to bid to Bettis Asphalt.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item.
Item C, Human Resources, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C484-2020 with Imaging Office Systems, Inc. for additional scanning of personnel payroll files at a cost of $5,109 utilizing COVID-19 Spark funds. Original contract was approved on October 19th of 2020.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. As the clerk said, this is the same contract that we had for October 19th that was approved. Our boxes were 2.4 cubic feet rather than 1.2 cubic feet. Imaging Office Systems was apologetic as they gave us the box sizes, but I want to go forward with this project, and we're grateful for COVID funds that could cover it. The COVID funds will allow us to get this paid for, as well as be able to access the information from anywhere.
Any questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, Health Department, consider approval of request to fill 1 Account Clerk 3 position at a salary of $46,272.40, including benefits, with funds from departmental budget, and to fill any subsequent position that result from filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Department. We are asking to fill this position that has become vacant due to a resignation. This is our only billing clerk now. Since we've gone to the electronic health record, we still need 1 person to do the work that is involved in the billing. And it is a position that's included in our budget this year and in 2021. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item. Thank you, Linda.
Item E, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C485-2020, a memorandum of understanding between the Sheriff's Office, Corrections, Topeka Police Department, and Vallejo Behavioral Health Care to split costs to find a full-time employee in the Crisis Response Program at a cost not to exceed $60,000, with $20,000 in funding from the county, $10,000 from inmate wellness account, and $10,000 from the Sheriff's operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This has been an ongoing an agreement we've had with all the parties involved, and over the past several years, I have worked closely with the Sheriff's Office with this and presenting this contract. It is a joint contract that Shawnee County, the City of Topeka, and Vallejo have all gone in together to fund this position. It is $20,000 for each party, and the Sheriff's Office and the DOC split this. This is a valuable program when it comes to providing alternatives to incarceration. It involves, enhances officer and first responder safety and security, and also provides valuable services to the consumer client in our community. One thing I can tell you is that this mobile response will have anywhere from 400 or 500 interactions with those consumers who are involved in mental health crisis, and you might see you might only see about 1 or 2 come to jail. So this is a tremendously valuable program. We're seeing it saves the taxpayers valuable money, and it enhances safety and security. We do pay this out of for the Department of Corrections out of the wellness account. I have met with the representatives with the Sheriff's Office, including Matt Patterson, and they are fully on board with this, and I'm here on behalf of the Sheriff and the Department of Corrections, and will stand for any questions you may have. And thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Director Cole, so this has been, while we're putting out $20,000 from Shawnee County, and the $20,000 comes from the City of Topeka, and the $20,000 from Vallejo.
Yes.
And then out of that $60,000, are we seeing a net benefit to the county?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You will see conservatively the daily cost of housing a person who suffers with mental illness or is going into crisis anywhere from $300 or $400 a day. And when you're diverting $300 or $400, where the majority of your people away from the Department of Corrections to valuable services, you're seeing not only better care to the consumer and alternatives to the jail, but you're seeing that they're able to do it more efficient. I would guess, just like CEO Bill Persinger said the other day, probably saving the taxpayers anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 a year, and could even be more. When you put in the COVID and the mental health issues that are going on with that, and the high numbers that jails are seeing, the tremendous benefit we're seeing for this investment it's worth its weight.
And so this does result in, there's law enforcement officers that are specifically trained to be a crisis responder.
Absolutely.
And so they would have a special training for mental health issues and trying to address individuals who are going through crises.
Yes, we're able to put a mental health professional with law enforcement. They're able to divert these calls specifically and train people through crisis intervention training, through dispatch, so they're able to specifically identify that's been specialized training. And this is something Shawnee County has been a lead in our region and in our state and region being able to provide this. This is the way that it should be done, and being able to put those mental health experts with law enforcement, because we're not mental health experts, and they're able to diffuse conflict. They're able to understand medication, most often they're already a client of Vallejo already, so they're able to have that rapport. And the other thing is this enhanced safety and security for the officer, because a lot of times these interactions can turn very deadly. They can burn both for law enforcement and the consumer. And a lot of this started back in 2008 with the death of involving law enforcement and a consumer who was in mental health crisis. So this just continues our effort in Shawnee County, but it saves us a lot of money, and outside of the money, it is saving lives, both law enforcement and consumers.
Brian, it says here it's 24 hours a day, access to a certified screener 24 hours a day. But this is just one position. How
Yes.
are they available 24 hours
We
a
are,
day?
we are just funding one, and then Vallejo and the city of Topeka are funding the other, so we have shifts. We did have a person who resigned here recently and filled that, but this is just one that we started off initially funding just for the one, and the other, as Bill Persinger had mentioned, they have, and the city also, in talking to Chief Cochran, have funded the others. So this just goes to one, but we do have 24 hours, yes.
Okay. I appreciate it. I think it's a great program. So,
Thank you.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item F, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider approval of request to surplus 14 vehicles and apply the proceeds to the current enterprise fleet management lease agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Boyd, Parks and Recreation. We are requesting permission to surplus the list of vehicles that were attached with the memo, and also to apply any of the proceeds from that sale to the fleet manager, or the fleet lease agreement. Be happy to answer any questions, and also our fleet supervisor, Brent Holsether's here as well.
Any questions? I will move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next item.
Item F2, consider approval of request to utilize 2020 contingency funds in the amount of $16,317.93 to pay an invoice from Central Mechanical Construction for the emergency repair purchase of an impeller at Bladesdale Family Aquatic Center.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Before you, we're asking you to approve this emergency purchase of the Impeller pump that was at our Bladesdale Center, or Bladesdale Pool. If you recall, back in late June, the main pump went out, and the vendor at that time, while replacing this, noticed the Impeller circulation pump was basically on its last leg. We decided at that time to go ahead and do an emergency purchase to have it on hand just in case it would go out during the season. We wouldn't have to wait the 2 or 3 weeks to get it in. Luckily, we made it through the season and did not need it, but we do need it going forward. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
John, or Randy. Next.
Item F3 has been pulled. Item G, Information Technology, number 1, consider approval of request to purchase 2 additional Nunatic, with that place right wherever he gets his things. That one. Virtualization platform modes to increase CPU, memory, and storage capacity of the county's existing, whatever that is, virtualization platform from Software's House International at a cost of $114,081 at the same rate as specified in RFP 067-18, utilizing the Coronavirus Relief Fund, and authorization and execution of contract C 487-2020 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Bliner with the Information Technology Department. This is a request to add 2 additional nodes to our public safety Nutanix platform. We had not planned to expand that this early, but we do have systems coming online that are related to COVID that are pushing us over the limit. As I mentioned in my memo, the Priority 1 dispatch system is one of those. I did make a mistake in my memo. I wanted to correct the record. I referenced the servers that are dedicated to the Guard 1 inmate tracking system. I made a mistake and included those as an example. Those are actually remotely hosted and do not impact our platform. But that doesn't change the fact that we do have to increase the capacity of our public safety Nutanix platform to accommodate other systems. This has been submitted to Witt O'Brien as an eligibility request. They've responded positively to that. They agree that this is an appropriate use of COVID funding to spend on this project. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item G2, consider approval of request to waive the county purchasing procedure to purchase 64 Cisco Catalyst network switches from World Data at a special pricing offered by the vendor of $49,800 with funding from the 2020 departmental budget and authorization and execution of contract C488-2020 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Brien with the Information Technology Department. This item is asking for permission to waive the normal purchasing procedures. Typically, we would do an RFP for a purchase of this size, but these network switches that we're asking to purchase are not a regular commodity item. These are switches that have been refurbished. They're actually aftermarket, and as such, we can't do an RFP for those because there's no guarantee that they would be available because they're not in production any longer. There's just a certain number of them out there floating around at any given time. So we've gone ahead and requested quotes from 3 vendors, and we'd like permission to go ahead and purchase from the lowest of those 3 quotes to get those switches brought into service. We've had a great success with implementing these switches over time. We've saved a lot of money for the county and for the taxpayers because we do go ahead and purchase these aftermarket and refurbish, but we do find that we get an additional 5 to 7 years of reliable service out of these switches, so that's a risk we're willing to take. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Ted. Next item.
Item H, Election Office, number 1, consider approval of request to post and fill a clerical union office assistant 2 board worker clerk position at a salary of $41,470.04, including benefits, with funding from the departmental budget, and to fill any subsequent position that results from filling this one.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. We have had a retirement in the office, and we do have a position that we need to fill. Again, the price is about $41,000, including benefits. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.
Next item.
Item I, Facilities Maintenance, number 1, consider approval of request to utilize contingency funding in the amount of $4,600 to pay Samco for the emergency purchase of the fan motor on air handling unit S1 at the courthouse.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. One of our air handlers at the courthouse had kind of a catastrophic failure early in the month, and it ended up ruining the motor on that fan unit, and this would replace it on an emergency basis out of contingency funding. Answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item I2, consider approval of the change orders number 1, 2, and 3 with Murray & Sons Construction, Inc. for additional work on the BCC lobby offices at a cost of $1,590.55, utilizing contingency funding.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. This includes the building permit for the work that we've been doing in the BCC lobby and the windows that were installed in the 2 new offices that we have there. Answer any questions that you might have.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Okay, anybody would like to speak on any subject is welcome to come forward.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. I am pleased to announce that of last Friday, Southeast 29th Street project from I-470 to Croco Road is substantially complete. That means all major items of work have been completed. The road is open to unrestricted traffic, and the only remaining work to take place is permanent seeding or sodding. That has to occur by December 18th of this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Anyone else wishing to speak? Commissioner Cook?
Just happy to hear that 29th Street's done and ahead of schedule. We were looking at originally at the beginning of December, and so this is a good job and a good win for Shawnee County citizens to be able to get 29th Street open and back to normal.
I agree. Commissioner Mays?
I'll echo that. It's great to see 29th Street. I know it's been a long time in the making, and so even though it's not quite 100% done, it's substantially complete, and that's great to see it open again. So
I went out and checked it out the other day. It looks really nice out there. Well, my Wildcats took it on the chin this weekend. But then there's the Chiefs. They did all right. I just wanted to say, too, that we will not have a meeting this Thursday, Thanksgiving. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. And I think that's all I have. We do have a need for an executive session, so I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 20 minutes to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, specifically to discuss salaries. No action is expected at this time. We will.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can we also add on that consultation with attorney for the body or agency, which we deem privileged in the attorney-client relationship, also in relation to that item?
Yes.
Will you be adding any minutes to that or not? Will you be adding any additional time to the 20 minutes
No.
for this? Okay.
No.
All right.
And I'll second the motion.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
You second?
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Oh, let's start at 9:40. How would that be? That gives us time to sign some stuff.